there's also test class for future method?
Yes. Whatever the Apex programming you will write, you need to write the test class as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Without that, the you will not be able to uh, do the deployment. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
that's why today we will first learn how to write a test class, and then we will go for the Queueable Apex. Okay,
Okay.
so give me the permission.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is my trigger, and in this trigger, it is working on the update,
Mm-hmm.
and we are updating the phone. If the phone field value we are updating, then
Mm-hmm.
the trigger handler class example future will be called, and there's a method update near future, update lead future. So this take uh, the collection of record IDs whose phone has been updated.
Yeah.
So example future, and this is a future method update lead future. So we will be writing our test class in such way so that the our uh, as per the best practice, at least 1% of the uh, I mean the test coverage should be of the trigger, and we should cover the maximum line of the this class example future. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
correct.
Yeah.
Now we will go for the new Apex class. It's always a the may what I generally may do the practice. I always write the test class with the first test, because when I go in the Apex classes, all the test classes I will be able to identify by just clicking on the T.
Mm-hmm.
So this is my normal class. I have to make it test class. The button comes here. Now first my duty is to create the test data, and as I know, because the phone I need to update, so this particular field phone I need to take it in intentionally in my test class.
Mm-hmm.
So these all fields at least should be available. So I will be creating the data, keeping these fields and other mandatory fields. So mm, there was the extension to see the API.
Hmm.
So last name, company, and the lead status is required. Okay, so our the lead data is ready. Now we will perform uh, the operation, the I mean updation on the existing lead. Or you can write it, you know, if you have the multiple data, then you have if you have to the query. So Now you have the data which you have created made above, you have queried it, correct? Now, or directly what you can do,
Mhm.
okay. So what we have done is this method will be helping us to create the data of the lead, and this method, the data which we have created on the in the at the test setup, we are fetching, we are querying, and we are updating the phone value.
Mhm.
Now, so my test class is passed. Now this is 100%.
Mhm.
This is also 100%.
So I have a question.
Mhm.
You, why do we need? Okay, so basically we have this one, we have this one, and we have this one. Do we need to write three of them?
I'm sorry.
We have this one, and we have this one, and we
Mhm.
have this one. Do we
Mhm.
need to write three of them?
No. Uh, See. Yeah. Now wait. This is the trigger, right? In which
What is this one?
this is a the trigger handler class in which we are calling a feature method.
And do we need to do this one, and this one, and this one?
This is the test class which will give
Yes, but
you
we need to do like we need to write a trigger, we need to write a handler class, and we need to write the test class, right?
right, right,
Mhm.
and because the in a trigger when you write for a trigger, if you write the test class, so whenever you are inserting the record and you are updating the record, it will then you need not to the write the I mean the okay, let me show you how. For example, okay,
Mhm.
I am not calling my this class the example future class from the trigger. So now this is not a trigger handler class. Okay. Now if you get
Mhm.
such scenario as well, okay. Now let's see what will happen to so the coverage here will be 100%. But since you are not calling the this particular class from the this trigger, so the coverage will be none.
Mhm.
Okay, because while writing the test class, you have it is a trigger, so trigger will automatically they take I mean the will start the they perform the operation of the test class inside it,
Mhm.
and you are calling the trigger handler class inside the trigger. So that's why the this particular class is also, I mean, it was also getting the coverage. But now what you need to do,
Mm-hmm.
so you need to now all the class from here, and as it takes the ID only, method does not take into signature, void update read feature. Okay, so what we will do now, hmm, we have updated the the that particular list. Now as we know that the future method will only take the primitive data type, so we have to provide the ID only. Okay, because
Mm-hmm.
here we are providing the ID only. So now what should I do to the call my class here and provide the you know the ID here. What should I do?
It's not recommended to provide the ID, right?
No, it is recommended for the future method. It will take the the ID only.
But if you put the ID, how will you know? Like maybe you want to update up to 1,000 or 5,000 records, right?
Hmm.
So you will not have the ID for each one of them, correct?
No, I will have the ID.
How you mean putting it into so-called query?
Okay, so you mean like this? We have to create the list, and
Yeah,
we.
but you are putting limit to one, right?
Mhm.
But what if I have thousands and thousands of records?
Then I will put the limit up to the 49,999.
So if I have 100, if I have 900,000, what will happen if I have this record?
How much?
If I have 900,000 records, what will happen?
Once, just a minute. But the maximum limit is the 49,999 only. How can you write this in this
What's the maximum?
49,000 49,999?
But what if your org contains a lot of data that's up to this number?
That
What
I
do you
told,
do?
that I told you that we will be discussing into the asynchronous programming, how to perform the operation on a large number of data, up to
Yeah,
50
but
million.
we are talking now about asynchronous programming, right?
Mm-hmm. See, every the purpose of your the large data will not be solved in the future method.
Okay.
You will be getting the more asynchronous. I mean the more governor limit in the future method. You can solve the mixed email errors in your future method.
Mhm.
But if you want to the execute the large number of data up to 50 million of the data, you have to go for the batch apex.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's I'm confused. So basically, I have a question here. You just commented this line now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here now. So when
Huh?
I remove this one, why it's throwing an error?
No, it is not throwing any error. That is of the test feature method. Test class. It is an error coming from the test class.
Oh, okay, not from this one. Okay, so so this is, I just wanna, one second, I just wanna copy this one on the document, one second. So basically first we create the test class and then we create the trigger, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is how we work, test class, then trigger.
Yes.
And then,
No.
no,
No.
sorry, a
No.
future handler class, then trigger, then test
No.
class.
No. First you have to
Trigger, then
trigger.
handler, then test class.
Yes. Tesla's job is the is the last thing which we do. Otherwise, the how you be how do you know that the what sort of the data you have to create for your test class? So and
Yeah, this one is not accurate yet, right? This one is not done yet.
this one,
It's not done yet, right? You said it's
no,
creating an
no,
error.
no, no. So I'm telling you, the scenario when you don't have the trigger of the future method. Okay. Right now the you are calling the future method from the trigger, so your trigger helped you to get the coverage. Okay, but
So basically, in your work now, do you work for a small company or a large company?
it's a big MNC.
Oh, sorry.
It's a big MNC.
So if it's a big company, you don't use at all future method, right?
No, why I will not be using future method?
Because if you have a large company with big number of data, how will the future method work?
But my purpose of using the future method is different. When I'm getting the when I have the when I need the higher governor limit, then I will be using the future method.
But what if you have big number of data?
I will go for a batch apex.
Okay, but do you actually now in your Salesforce use future methods?
Yes,
Do you have big number of data?
yes.
And how will the future method work?
Okay, don't get confused. Don't get confused. I will show you the example from my project. Okay, and for now, just understand when you have the large number of data, up to 50 million of data, you have to write the batch apex, which we have not studied yet. Okay,
Okay.
so
Mhm.
when you need the higher governance limit, okay, then you go for the feature method.
Okay. High governor limit. Can you explain to me when you say high governor limit, when you say high governor limit, that means consuming for the API, right?
No, I discussed this thing. Let me show you where.
Do you have any students like me?
Uh, see this thing. Uh,
Uh, I'm the only one who gives you hard time.
line number 34 to 36.
So governor limit means a number of a SQL query.
Yes, for every the everything we have the governor limit. That's SQL query, SOSL. For example, the SOSL uh, runs the 20 times and it fetches the 2000 of the
Sounds
record.
like I don't like the higher governor limit because it limits the SQL query as well. So if I have big number of data, this doesn't work for me, correct?
No.
Yeah, I'm just asking. Okay, it's clear now.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right.
Now. Now we are looking for a, the method by which we can write the test class. Okay,
Mhm.
so
I should take like a day where I can just sit and review all whatever you gave me so that I can be up to date with all this information.
I'm sorry.
I should like have one day I just review everything we discussed so that it will be more clear for me.
Okay. Mm,
Maybe when is usually your day off, Saturday and Sunday?
Saturday, Sunday. Actually, I will tell you. No worries.
No, I'm just asking, when do you
No,
usually take off from work?
but Saturday, Sunday is a weekend,
Yeah.
so I generally take the the off from the. So now at the line number 20, illegal assignment from list to list. Okay. So we have the one here, and it is giving the, but why it is giving this error? Because uh, the assignment from list to list. So now the in the test class, what I'm doing is now my future method. Okay, I lose my control again. My future class, I mean the future method, the class which is containing a future method, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is not working as a that is not working uh, as a trigger handler. Okay,
Okay.
because I'm not calling from the trigger. This is a separate class. And now whatever the logic we have done in this particular class is a separate thing. So what we have done is we have now called our class with a method and the parameter providing into it, and as we run the test class, it is getting passed. The coverage we are able to see is 100%. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it is not showing. Yeah, and our purpose of the writing the test class is getting solved. Now any doubt in this?
No, it's clear. I will need to sit and go through the video again just to make sure
Okay.
I'm confident with this. So that's why I ask you, when do you usually have day off? So usually I don't wake you up in the morning. I take it as my day to work and test so that it will be your off day.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now we have the another concept.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me the shall I continue writing the notes here, or because I'm going to tell you about the Queueable class.
Yeah,
So
let's open a new one. No, a new one,
new one.
please.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, we have the, uh, I mean, few
What
drawbacks.
does it mean?
Huh?
What does queuable mean?
I'm telling you. So we have, the few drawbacks, or you can say few negative points about the future method. Like we cannot get the job ID. A future method cannot call a future method. So the this thing we have, the removed in a queuable class. Okay. Now queuable class, any class with implements queuable become queuable class. This means that you can call another queuable class from your queuable class. Okay. Now this class will always have execute method with parameter. Queuable context, and from execute method you can call queue queue and the queuable class. Okay.
Mhm.
This class will take all type of parameter and also provide job ID. The ID is a type of the data type and the job ID is a variable. system.enqueue, or okay.
Mhm.
Now, the governor limit we have is of
When you say governor limit, you mean the SQL query, right?
no. Governor limit is not only for SQL query. Governor limit is of everything. We have the limit, we have the restrictions on everything. So in a single transactions, we can use the 50 cable class only. We can't use more than this.
How many?
50
50 what?
cable classes.
Okay. What is the governor limit per day?
Hmm. Our Salesforce is basically, the is a multi-tenant architecture. So that's why the none of the the user will face any problem. Salesforce has decided the governor limit, and these governor limit gets calculated on per transaction basis. Now, the governor limit is like the for example your favorite thing, SOQL. So in a single transaction, you in a synchronous process, it can run 100 times, but in an asynchronous process, it can run 200 times.
Mhm.
Okay. Secondly, the data will be fetched as of the 50,000. You can send a
Okay.
maximum email in a single transaction is of the is 10. Trigger can be fired 16,
Mhm.
right? DML statement will work 150.
Okay.
Okay. So every the thing have a limit here. So this normal class, when I'm writing the implement, the queueable. Now this normal class, just by writing the implement queueable, see, because the implement queueable means that now your Salesforce understood that you are creating a class which will be the as a queueable. I mean the which you need to queue. Okay, so now we have to
Yes.
create a execute method,
Hmm.
right? So See, so this is the important the method when you write the the queueable class. Execute method will be there, and the queueable context is a parameter which you have to provide. Now, what the exactly may